It was a nice surprise.
Okay.
It was a nice surprise. She called me the day before my birthday. I was feeling kind of old. But that helped to make the day a lot better.
Good. Okay. I read your nomination, but I want to go back a little bit. Tell me where you grew up.
Born and raised Bronx, New York. Went to school there.
Okay.
And then 1994.
Uh-huh.
We moved to Worcester. My father-in-law, he had remarried a woman who lived in Akron, so she wanted to go home. So he relocated there and persuaded my husband that Ohio was a nicer place than the Bronx. And in some ways he was right. But my daughter was 14.
Oh, okay.
So she had to ride that yellow school bus. And unfortunately, I'll say in the Bronx, I'm not going to say everywhere, there's a stigma about the yellow school bus. You know, just, oh my God, I gotta ride this stupid yellow school bus to school. You know. So she wasn't happy, and then to see the goats and the cows and just different farm animals, and she would call my mom like every day, and that's before you had free long distance. My mother thought I was living in the middle of a farm, you know, so I had to take pictures to show her. There's a house right here, there's a house right there, there's a school right here. Yes, when you go further down, you do pass cows, you know, you do pass goats and sheep. So, and luckily both of my children went to camp, so they knew what a llama looked like. My nephew, who came to visit from Staten Island, he told his dad I took him somewhere and we saw an animal that looked like a camel without humps, which was a llama. And I'm sure that they have a zoo in Staten Island. You know. So it was a big change. It was a big change. Things here, of course, are a lot slower. Things close, which I would have said early. They close 10 o'clock,
Okay.
11 o'clock. Unfortunately, it wasn't a lot to do for young people.
Okay.
And my son had come to stay because when we left New York, he was in the 12th grade. We left him with his stepsister, his half-sister, and my mom and my family, so he can finish the 12th grade. And then he went on to Northeastern University. And after a year, he decided that's not what he wanted to do, so he came out here. So as a mom, the punishment was, I'm going to make sure you have a job making minimum wage, because he had an internship in Northeastern in the engineering program where he made about $14 an hour. So I took him to Drug Mart, and the manager there, Bruce Thomas, he hired him. He says, but, you know, you were in college and everything, so no, he didn't start him out as minimum wage. He gave him a little higher salary. So, you know, at the end of that tour, he could say, I have experience as being a stock person. He worked cashier. He did get a lot of experience from Drug Mart. Made friends, met his wife there, who I wasn't happy about, but they've been married 18 years.
Wow.
They have 3 beautiful children, smart children, and I always tell them, I would like those children if they weren't mine. They are so humble. What children do you know? You have to pull teeth to find out what they want for Christmas. Now the little girl, she's 9. She'll tell you off the bat, you know, whatever kind of dolls they have. But Austin, what did I say? They married 18 years. No, 19 years.
Okay.
Austin he's in college now. He's the oldest. And you ask him, well, what do you want for Christmas? And his thing is, I have everything that I need.
Oh.
Well, what do you want? I don't know. It's it's like, oh my God, were these children adopted, or did they get the wrong children? You know.
So
what's
your daughter doing now?
My daughter, she has her own little company. She's a graphic designer.
Okay.
She designs shirts. She's working a couple of days a week with a little paper in New York. And what she does is she sets up the advertisement for that. She also had a job in Abu Dhabi. It's like you couldn't have got a job in Jersey. She got a job in Abu Dhabi to help coordinate an art festival there, and that was 2 years ago. But right before she went to Abu Dhabi, my mom had taken ill, and Janelle had spent the majority of her time being my mother's caregiver 24/7. But she can do computer work, from home. And January made 2 years since my mom passed. But right before my mom passed, Janelle had got the offer to work in Abu Dhabi. And when she heard my mom was really, really sick, she wanted to come back home. So she came home, and my mother said, "You're going back." She said, "I am 91 years old, honey. I've lived my life." She said, "Now you live yours, And my mom is my inspiration.
Okay.
She worked with the Girl Scouts. She worked with different community organizations. And if there's any injustice to be had, here comes Miss Joseph. She's going to set it right. She's going to say what's on her mind. And matter of fact, at 88, she was working with her the building association where she lived in Co-op City, and they had her being the secretary, and she would tell them, "Hurry up and say what you have to say. I'm old, and I don't know how much longer I have on this planet." But she taught us to be independent. She taught us to take a chance, and even my dad. My dad, unfortunately, he died. He died when he turned 66.
Wow.
And he worked for Ford Motor Company. And for a black man at that time, for anybody, that was a very good job. That was a very good job. And he was passed over twice for a promotion to be an inspector. Okay, once, all right. Second time, no. And he contacted the NAACP, and they had no reason not to promote him, and he got the promotion. And he worked for Ford Motor Company in Malwell, New Jersey, until they closed. And even though he didn't have the age, he had the time, and he got the benefits for early retirement. And one day my dad and we were in our neighborhood bank, and I had rolled up some coins, to deposit in the bank. And they had told us that they had a new policy. If you roll up your coins, they're going to take 10 cents from your rolled coins. So that means if you turn in 50 cents for your pennies, you're going to get 40 cents back. It's like, but why? If I give you 50 cents, why can't I get 50 cents back? Well, that's a new policy. So I kept my stuff. And my dad had a big bottle, plastic bottle. He put his coins in. He said he was going to put them in a paper bag and just dump them there. But when I did, I wrote the bank. And it said that's their policy. So I wrote the banking commissioner. And they said they have the right to do what they want to do. That's their policy. I wrote the mayor, the city councilman. I wrote the governor. Only person I didn't write to was the president. And lo and behold, even though everybody wrote back and said that they have a right to create whatever fees that they want, the policy changed. Because I said, how do you encourage young children to save? If you put $1 under your mattress.
Mm-hmm.
When you come back next month, you still have $1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you're trying to save money, how is that helping you? So I guess somebody said, God, this lady is writing everybody. Because, you know, once you write somebody, they're going to contact the bank. So everybody is contacting the bank. And I know the president of the bank is like, oh, my God, give the girl her 50 cents, you know.
How old were you when this happened?
I was grown then. I was 17.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I like that. I like that. And that's why I always tell people one person can make a difference. Because it's like like a little piece of sand in your eye. It's irritating. And you're gonna do what you have to do to get it out. Or as you grow up, a lot of times to appease you or get rid of you, you know. And so here in Ohio, here in Worcester,
Mm-hmm.
I looked around, it's like, this is so different from New York, from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And then unfortunately, this is a beautiful place to look at. But for someone being in a minority, me being a black woman, it was very hard. It was very, very hard. I had temp jobs that I did. I didn't have any problems.
Mm-hmm.
I was hired as a temp and did very good at this particular company.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came time for a permanent position to come available,
Mm-hmm.
I was more than qualified because I did the work in New York and I was doing it for them.
Mm-hmm.
I was not given the position, and they hired someone in the mailroom. And then I had to train that person. And then eventually that person made several mistakes, costly mistakes, and I wound up getting the position. But some of the people weren't very happy about it. And so after a while they eliminated the position. And it's like, okay. Then I got hired at another company making very good money.
Uh-huh.
And the boss, the gentleman from HR,
Uh-huh.
he would call me stupid and incompetent in front of my coworkers. When he wanted something, he wanted it immediately. When you have to look things up on the computer, even if you're on the phone, it takes a minute, and he would hang up. And one day my supervisor heard him talking to me like that.
Uh-huh.
And my answer to him was like, yeah, okay. And my supervisor called me in the office. He said, what is going on? And I said, oh, he does that all the time. He said, why do you allow it? I said, because if I answer back, it leads into a big conversation.
Uh-huh.
I said, and I'm not stupid. I get paid good money here. I like my job. I like the pay. He says, you don't have to take that from anybody. I said, but I would just tell him, okay, I don't have to take him home. I don't have to like him. I don't have to like him.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I left there, and my son is like, well, it's not worth all the money in the world. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Drug Mart was my continuous second job. And what I learned working at Drug Mart is, it's like a bar without drinks. You get the same people coming in at 2 and 3 times a day. And back at the courtesy window, people come and pay their bills, play the lottery,
Mm-hmm.
and they buy stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Thought nothing of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked for Drug Mart for 11 years, 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
People have a preference to their stamps. I would hate it when January would come because they would start selling stamps for Black History Month. And there are some people that are very upset about that. And I'm a prankster, I'll put it like that.
Uh-huh.
This man looked at this stamp one time. He said, well, who is this? Who is this? He said, oh my God, next thing you know, OJ, you'll have a stamp. So I looked at the stamp and I told him, I said, you don't know who that is? That's Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I saw that movie. It was Paul Robeson. If he had just turned it over, he would have been able to read it. But he was happy with Lawrence Fishburne. But a lot of people were very upset when they would have jazz singers and things like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And through that, then that's when I got with the NAACP. Manny Stone and Jerry Butts and Eugene Grandi got me involved in that. And it's like, wow, you can do a lot here. You can do a lot in this community. You have a good handful of people here in power with money. You have people here that will utilize their money to help everybody. But sometimes the people in power are with different organizations that may not want to do what you want to do. My only regret is that I could not convince the Wayne County Fair Board to take a stand against the Confederate flag. I'm not sure if there's anything that we can actually present to them or do to make them realize how hurtful it is, not just to people of color, but to even some of the people in the community. And there's a guy who drives a pickup truck and he rides through Bell Avenue with his Confederate flag and he throws things at the college students. He just racial slurs. A lot of those students have no clue about Worcester. No clue. They're coming from Atlanta, Georgia. They're coming from Alabama. They're coming from Connecticut. They're coming from all across our nation. And even, you don't have to be a person of color to be offended by it.
Right.
I would say 80% of the students that attend the College of Worcester are there on academic scholarships. Not all of the families have the money for that college. And under the leadership of Sarah Bolton, she is amazing. She has been working hard with the NAACP. Her diversity team is working hard with the NAACP. We do the MLK. We sit down and talk about the issue that's going on. And kudos to her for women power. She's another strong woman. And we're getting things done. We're getting things done.